Just before we went to break, we got cut off on that conversation about possible financial exclusion of students at WITS University. And to take forward that conversation, we're joined by the Legal and Policy Officer, Gabriella Nechama. Gabriella, I'm terribly sorry to do this to you, but I think it's an important conversation. And let's start it from the beginning once again. Which steps have you taken to assist the students who at risk of financial exclusion?
Yes, we have done internal negotiations with the university. We have requested that the university bring back all financially excluded students. These are students that went above and beyond in one of the most challenging academic years because of COVID-19. These are students who not only lost family members, but also had family members who lost jobs. And so that is why we are seeing such an increase in university financial exclusions. And it's an unprecedented time, and therefore we are pushing the university to make unprecedented changes, because this act of university, in order for our country to progress from in a socio-economic progression and occupational progression, we need education. And so when the university does not accept students, we are saying that the doors of education are locked. And this not only prevents justice and equality for becoming a reality, but it also not only prevents it, but exacerbates it and entrenches our society into a place of racial discrimination and injustice to the large amount of groups of students who will be academically excluded.
Has the university given its reasons and motivations?
They have said that they are struggling financially, but this is not the case, because last year they had many expenses which were not occurred because we weren't on campus. You know, electricity, course packs, in-person lectures, and they only gave us a 25% rebate during the course of the year, which really is completely and utterly unacceptable in such times. Yeah. Above that, we have seen from the Department of Higher Education that there's an increase in fees. So what kind of expectations does the university have of students who come from previously disadvantaged backgrounds? And, you know, it's so important to realize the demographics of our university and tertiary education, that when you exclude a student financially, you're not only excluding them, you are excluding their family. You are excluding their community, who were never given this privilege, this right to education.
What are some of your suggestions or alternatives on the matter?
We have asked the university to give us a concession, which they gave last year, of allowing all students to return who have under 120,000 Rand of historical debt. This was a concession which they allowed last year, yet this year they have brought it down to a mere 10,000 Rand of historical debt, and only those students who owe 10,000 Rand or less are allowed to register. And more than that, they are not making this a blanket approach. They are saying that each student needs to prove their poverty, which is it puts a student in such an indignifying position that they must prove their poverty and how they have been underprivileged. And, you know, COVID wasn't an individual thing. It was undiscriminatory. It attacked everyone, and students included. So we ask that we command the university to be fair, to be just, and not to discriminate against the previously disadvantaged.
Yeah, just in terms of the way forward now, especially because I'm sure students are anxiously awaiting just knowledge of what to do from here on. What should students do? The affected students.
So there is a hardship fund. The WITS SRC will be launching a campaign today, this afternoon, which we call on all civil society, government, stakeholders, corporates to join our campaign. The launch will be this afternoon. Please keep in touch with our social media platforms and news platforms. We'll be having a press conference at 6 tonight. And we want to make clear that all students, black, white, colored, and Indian, will and should and will stop at no cost to make the reality of free, decolonized tertiary education a reality for all students across the country.
Yeah.
If it means that we must attack, we must attack. If it means we must fight, we will fight. We will hold the university accountable and at ransom until this reality is achieved and all students are registered.
Gabriella, just before I let you go, another conversation that's taking place around WITS right now is the safety of students around Braamfontein, students not being able to, especially female students, not being able to walk to the library without feeling some sense of anxiety about whether they'll make it to the library or make it back to residences safe. What's your involvement in this conversation?
Currently, I don't know if you can hear, there's background noise. I was cut off. And this is the reason, because I'm currently with a student at the magistrate court. The past 2 weeks, she has been harassed by someone living in the same residence as her. Her skirt was torn. She has pleaded with him. And so I'm currently sitting with her while she's in the magistrate court. I'm sitting actually doing this interview in the bathroom because I don't want to leave her. She's so terrified. Because we are getting a restraining order against the
Yeah, I'm sorry, that story just brought tears to my eyes, and I apologize for that. Need to get myself together. Gabriella, you're back. Do you want to finish your point?
Yes, me personally, as a woman, I don't feel comfortable to drive home, and I'm trying here to serve students. And when I have to leave,
okay, it's not a great line, but I think you got the gist of what Gabriella was trying to tell us about. Let's take a break.